you guys? It's Susie from HeyGrillHey.com, and today we are making something that I only recently saw from a friend. I'm going to tell you who taught me this beautiful method for a pulled ham, and then I'm going to show you how to do it in your own backyard. Let's get it done. So I first heard about the pulled ham from a really good friend of mine, Caitlin McCleary. You guys can check her out, Kate's Meats and Meals. She's on Instagram, she's on TV all of the time, and she is absolutely genius when it comes to cooking outside on the smoker for her family and especially for a crowd. And she pulled off a pulled ham, and it kind of blew my mind. I mean, it makes sense. We do pulled pork from shoulders. Picnic hams are cut from a similar area. They're really tough. And honestly, I think it's gonna be really delicious. All of that salty ham, but shredded apart, perfect for sliders or sandwiches, or even, you know, an Easter celebration that's up and coming. So it's pretty easy, and I'm making it up as I go. So let's have some fun and make a pulled ham. First up, we need to talk about our ham. This is a picnic ham unsliced. You do not want one of those spiral cut hams. It will not shred apart. It will just be a sliced ham, not a pulled ham. So make sure there's no cuts in here. This guy is about 8 pounds. They're usually between 8 and 10 pounds. You want one with the bone in so that it'll hold itself all together. And that's really all you need to get started, other than a knife, because we're going to score the outside. And then of course we have some olive oil as a binder and our sweet rub for seasoning. I'm using a paring knife for this one because it's sharp and because it's really agile with my hands. So what you want to do is take your knife, and we're going to cut a crosshatch all the way across our ham. We're going to kind of go in a diagonal pattern as we work our way across the ham. Our ham is scored. Now it's time to season. I'm going to drizzle with a little bit of olive oil. This is essentially just going to help my sweet rub stick to the outside of the meat. So we don't need to go too heavy, just a little bit, and then smear all around with your fingers. Then we come in with our seasoning. I'm using a sweet rub seasoning. It's a brown sugar based seasoning because I know it's going to give me some really nice dark bark and color on the outside. I also think the sweet brown sugar flavors in here are really going to be awesome with the ham, especially because later we're doing a apricot jam and barbecue sauce glaze. I think the sweet rub will tie it all together. That looks good to me. Now you'll see I've got the ham face side down on a baking sheet. That's actually how I'm going to put it onto the smoker. The cut side has the potential to lose a lot of moisture because this ham is pre-cooked. Having it on the baking sheet should help retain some of that moisture, and I think we're gonna get plenty of seasoning and bark on all the other sides of the ham that's exposed. Now this is going into the smoker, 225 degrees. Really any wood would work great here. Keep in mind that generally hams are already smoked, so I wouldn't want to go too strong on the smoke. I would stick with something fruity like an apple or a cherry. You could even go maple or pecan. And this is going to hit the smoker and be in there for about 8 hours until the internal temperature hits 165 to 175 degrees, and then it's time to glaze. Okay, you guys, it's time for phase 2 of our pulled ham. This is the braising step, where that ham just gets melt in your mouth, fall apart tender. But we gotta check on it and see what temperature we're at. Come here and look at this guy. Right where I wanna be, between 165 and 175. So we're gonna pull this off and then get started on our glaze. I'm gonna get my ham into an aluminum pan. Again, I'm gonna keep it that open side down. I'm gonna pour a cup of water in the bottom of the foil pan. This is gonna help steam the ham, keep it moist. And then we're making our glaze. In a small saucepan, I'm just gonna combine a cup of apricot preserves. Honestly, you could use any kind of preserves you like. You could use peach, you could use raspberry, you could even use a jalapeno jam. You just want the sweetness and you know, the fruitiness of whatever flavor you choose. I'm going with an apricot today. And some barbecue sauce. So we're gonna do equal parts, a cup of each, okay? Heat it up until it's just all combined, a little bit bubbly, and then we're gonna pour it over the top of our ham. That took like 2 minutes. Our sauce came up to a bubble really quickly. It's nice and combined, and then we just pour this hot glaze over the top of our ham. And we get like a slow, like, need like a slow glaze pour song. This smells righteous. Whew. Whew. Smells like a party, and it looks so pretty. Okay, we're gonna cover this with foil and get it back on the smoker. I'm actually gonna increase the temperature on my grill to 300 degrees. Now we've already slow cooked this. It's taken on all the smoke that it's gonna take on. So now we just wanna get it cooked to the point where it's that fall apart tender. We're looking for an internal temperature of about 200 degrees here. Like I said, I think it'll take about 2.5 to 3 hours. I'm both nervous and excited about this reveal. So this took about almost 3.5 hours at 300 degrees to get to the point where my thermometer was just sliding in and out like softened butter. It actually went a little bit higher than I normally take a pork shoulder. It was about 205 to 206, but I felt really good about the texture. So now we get to see what it looks like on the inside.
Looks burnt.
She's a beaut. That's crust. That's
just kidding.
Barky, beautiful goodness. That smells awesome. So this beautiful ham has been resting for about 45 minutes at room temperature. You could probably rest it for quite a bit longer. It's still very hot, but I'm excited to taste it. So we're going to crack it open and we're going to shred it apart. Now I'm going to pull it kind of into the pan and then transfer it to a serving dish because we want all of the strands of this pork to be coated in this apricot barbecue sauce, pork fat jus that's happening down here at the bottom. Moment of truth. Oh! No!
You splashed my hand.
I'm so sorry. I'm a little aggressive with the shredding. Now, the idea here is that it stays pretty moist, even though it's cooked to this high temperature, because there's quite a bit of fat in this cut of meat. And then we added all of that moisture in the bottom of the pan, and it just braised and steamed together. This looks phenomenal. Guys, this is amazing. Caitlin, you are a mad genius, evil scientist, fantastic recipe human. And I thank you for bringing all of us the pulled ham. I hope you guys love my take on a smoked pulled ham. I think this is going to be absolutely beautiful on a holiday table. I actually think you're gonna be able to portion this out and feed a ton of people without having to hack that spiral ham apart at the buffet. Also, leftovers. Can you imagine this between like some Hawaiian bowl or some Hawaiian rolls with some Swiss cheese all melty and ooey gooey? This is like, I don't know, barbecue ham. Barbecue ham! It's fantastic. I hope you guys give this one a try. If you do, snap a photo, share it online, use the hashtag #HeyGrillHey. That way I can see it and cheer you on your journey to becoming a backyard barbecue hero. We'll see you next time.